We've got Sukhdeep Singh doing Gatha downstairs on a different topic, the Kni Onkar. So please do try and come down for that in the main hall, 6 to 7. And then we have the talks going on here. We've got Bhai Gurjaran Singh doing the talk today. Just before we pass it over to him, can everyone just again confirm if they've joined up to the WhatsApp community group? Just a raise of hands if you are a part of the group. Cool. That's about 50-60%. If you're not, please can you sign up, because when there's a break or if there's any update, we do send it on the WhatsApp group. Sometimes we get people turning up when they may not be on, so that's the best way to stay informed. So please do sign up, and also follow the Basics Insta page. We provide updates, we provide posters there as well, so you can keep on top of everything that's going on. And finally, if you do want to get involved in any seva, like Kirtan seva or Tabla seva, or even Jor Sahib seva, we are looking for sevadars. So please, if you do want to get involved, get in touch with anyone wearing a yellow hoodie, and we can make sure you contribute to next week or any future week. So please do get involved. Thank you very much. We started a new fun fact thing about the different presenters. So last time on Manpreet Singh, the fun fact was that he was half Fijian. And I realised not many people realised where Fiji was, but Manpreet Singh did clear it up. Gurjaran Singh's fun fact, and it makes a lot of sense to me, is that he was electrocuted when he was younger. And I'm going to pass on the story to Gurjaran Singh to explain exactly that. So, and just final thing as well, he will pass that on. And the talk, which is on acceptance, is that we should accept that he was electrocuted. Last thing, it's bank holiday, so there's no excuse to please leave early. Let's try and stay for the Kirtan and see Maharaj go down to Sachkhand. Tomorrow is a shutti for everyone. WhyGuru Ji ka Khalsa, WhyGuru Ji ki Fateh.
WhyGuru Ji ka Khalsa, WhyGuru Ji ki Fateh. Thank you for those kind and loving words, Manmohan Singh. So, just before we start, we may have all had a stressful week, a busy week. So let's all just focus our minds on the Mool Mantar. And just imagine all of those pains just melt away and give it to Guru Sahib. So, Ik Onkar Satanam Karta Purkh Nirbhau Nirvair Akal Murtat Ajuni Sabang Gur Prasad Jap Ad Sach Jug Ad Sach Hai Bhi Sach Nanak Hosi Bhi Sach WhyGuru Ji ka Khalsa, WhyGuru Ji ki Fateh. Sorry, I realised I hadn't actually cleared up what the whole electrocuting story was. So basically, when I was younger, I used to go to India every 2 years. And in the house that we have outside, there was like rooms with showers in there. So there would just be a room, a shower. And for some crazy reason, the builders decided to put a light switch and an open plug socket in the shower. So I'd had a shower, my whole body was wet. And the door must have closed, so it went dark. So I thought, all right, let me turn the light on. And then I reached out in the dark, and I just felt like this massive like shock just go all through my arm. Like it was so strong. It was crazy. It's only afterwards I realized that I'd basically been electrocuted. And thankfully, Guru Kirpa, it didn't go to the rest of my body. Because if you're wet, your whole body should really be electrocuted. So thank you, Guru Sahib, for protecting me now. But yeah, they need to renew the regulations in India for building showers. So, as Manmohan Singh said, there's been quite a few breaks over the last couple of months. So the last 4 Paudiya that we've been covering have been on the power of listening. So when the Siddhs asked Guru Nanak Dev Ji that what is the power of listening to Naam, to Gurbani, to WhyGuru Ji's name. And so what we're going to do is just quickly run through what the meanings of those 4 Paudiya were. And then this will carry on to the next 4 Paudiya that we're going to be talking about. So first, Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, Sunaya Siddh Peer Suranath, so that by listening, we gain the status of the Siddhs, those that have worldly powers and spiritual powers. Of the Peers, so in the Muslim faith, they would refer to people who are holy as Peers. Then we have the Surs, so they are the Hindu god, the Devte. And then we have Nath, the yogic masters, the master of all the yogis. Sunaya Tard Tavala Akas. So by listening, that bull that was believed to have been holding the earth up as support gained the strength to be able to do so. Sunaya Deep Loa Patal, that by listening, we gain knowledge of all of the deep, so the continents, and then the 14 realms. And then of those 14 realms, we have 7 lower realms, the underworlds. Sunaya Pohit Nasakekal. So by listening, that even death can't even touch us. And then Guruji says, Nanaka Bhagata Sada Vigas, So Guru Nanak Dev Ji is saying that those devotees, those who devote themselves to WhyGuru, that sada vigas, they are always in bliss. That they're not affected by the ups and downs that we experience. They continually see in bliss. Suniye dukh paap ka nas. That by listening, all of our dukh, our pains, our paap, all the sins we've done, ka nas, they're all destroyed. And we heard the story about that poor leper. That person had leprosy, a really difficult disease to bear. That Guru Nanak Dev Ji, they sang Kirtan and it destroyed all of the pain that that leper had. That they would be crying day and night and nobody would come near them. So that shows actually the power of listening in that body. Then we have Sunaya Isar Barma Ind. That by listening, we obtain the status of Shivji, of Brahma, and of Indra. So the destroyer, the creator, and then the king of the demigods. Sunaya Mukha Salahanamand. That by listening, even those people that are deemed to be bad, even they can be praised and be called great. Sunaya Jog Jugatatanapaid. So by listening, all these different techniques and positions that people will put their body through to try and obtain knowledge about their body, the secrets of the body, that just by listening, we can attain all that knowledge. Sunaya Sastra Simrit Ved. That by listening, we get the knowledge of the 6 Shastras, the 27 Simritiya, and the 4 Veds, these scriptures that people spent so long and such difficult effort to understand. That just by listening, we get all of that knowledge. And then again, Nanaka Bhagata Sada Vigas, Sunaya Dukha Papakanas. Sunaya Sat Santokh Gyan, that by listening to Naam, to Gurbani, to WhyGuruji's name, that we get the qualities of Sat, of truth, of Santokh, of contentment, and Gyan, of spiritual wisdom. Sunaya Atasat Ka Isnan. That by listening, we get the benefits, the fruits of going to all of these different 68 places of pilgrimage that people would make great efforts to go to. Sunaya Pad Pavaheman. That by listening and reading what we're listening to, that we gain honor. Sunaya Lage Sahajatayan. That by listening, we obtain that Sahajavastha, that spiritual state of peace and also concentration. Nanaka Bhagata Sadavigas, Sunaya Dukha Papakanas. And the final of the Sunaya Bodhiya, Sunaya Sara Guna Ke Gah. That by listening, we get to obtain all the ocean of virtues that exist. Sunaya Sikh Peer Patisah. That by listening again, we get the status of the Sikhs, like the Muslim mystics, the Peers, which we've gone through before, the holy people that Muslims refer to, and then Patisah, the kings, the emperors. Sunaya Ande Pavahiraho. That by listening, even those that are blind, even they get to find the path. And then Sunaya Hat Hove Asagahu. That by listening, we get to grasp that which is unreachable, ungraspable. And finally, Nanaka Bhagata Sadavigas, Sunaya Dukha Papaganas. So the Siddhs now ask Guru Nanak Dev Ji that, okay, we get it, we understand listening is really important. And these are the things that we can gain from that. But what is the power of accepting what we've listened to? And Guru Nanak Dev Ji, before they give their answer, I just want to ask the Sangat that what do you guys think accepting is? What does accepting mean? Anybody before I start picking on names? Hanji.
Take in without questioning.
Hanji, yeah, really good. Thank you so much. So take in without questioning. So accepting what we've heard as 100% truth, believing it with full faith. And just to ask a question on a more personal level, that what does it mean to accept in terms of the meaning of our life? So what do we accept the meaning of our life to be? So Ripandeep, so are you saying something? Ripandeep Singh? Heard you? You sure? What do we accept the meaning of our life to be? Hanji? Who? Oh yeah, Hanji, sorry. So you're saying that, so VG, if you can't hear, you're saying that the materialistic world that we're living in is all going to go. So what is it that our meaning of life is? If that's not the meaning of our life, what is the meaning of our life? So you got half of the answer, G. So thank you so much. Hanji at the back. Hanji, thank you so much, Benji. Hanji, yeah. So return back to God to actually merge with that one, to connect to WhyGuru. And just to maybe experience the difference between just listening and then accepting what we've listened to, we're just going to look at a shabad that many of us hear every day in Rahra Sahib. So we hear that we've been gifted this human body. Gobind milan laki eh teri bariya. It's our turn to meet WhyGuru. Avarkaj tera kita nakam, that nothing else is going to work. Mil sad sangat bajke varanam. Apart from meeting the sad sangat, like we were doing just earlier on, and vibrating on that naam. So sometimes you may listen to this maybe ritualistically, that goes into one ear and then we're waiting for the next shabad. But if we were to accept what we listen to, then maybe when we read that we could say to ourselves like, wow, WhyGuru, I'm so lucky to have obtained this human life, that I could have been any one of the other 8.4 million life forms. I could have been a fly, I could have been a tree, I could have been a rock. But I've been given this human life. And now Guruji is saying, Gobind milanaki eh teri bariya. He's saying to us that it's our turn now to meet WhyGuru, to connect to that one. That we've waited for so long, so many lifetimes, it's our turn now. Avarkaj tera kita nakam, that all of these other things we're trying to gain, that true happiness, that peace, to fill that emptiness inside, none of that is going to work apart from milasad sangat bajke varanam. Apart from meeting the sad sangat, the company of the holy, like we've been doing today, and vibrating on that naam. And this isn't to say that, we can't have a job, have fun, have a family, but it's saying that we should just remember what our purpose is. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji has made it very simple for us. Naam japana, to recite WhyGuruji's name, Kirat karani, to work honestly, and then with those earnings, van ke chakna, so to share with the world. And so the Siddhs then ask that question, back to that question, they say, what is the power of listening and in accepting? And Guru Nanak Dev Ji, they're saying that manne ki gat kahi na jaye. They're saying that those people who have accepted manne, ki, so of, gat. So gat means spiritual state. So Guru is saying that the spiritual state of those who have accepted, kahi na jaye. We can't actually speak of it. We can't describe it. We can't even try and put into words the spiritual state of those that have accepted. And what we're going to do for the rest of this body is go on a journey with Guru Arjun Dev Ji. That Guru Arjun Dev Ji that showed us what it meant to accept what they listened to. And this is topical because in a few weeks' time, Guru Arjun Dev Ji Shahidi Purba is going to be taking place. That day where Guru Arjun Dev Ji sacrificed themselves. So this Saki starts with Guru Arjun Dev Ji's father, who was Guru Ramdas Ji. Hanji. So Guru Ramdas Ji's Taya's son, so their cousin, came from Lahore to meet them. And they said that my son, so your nephew, is going to be getting married in Lahore. And we would love for you to bless us with your darshan. And Guru Ramdas Ji says that it's going to be difficult because so many Sangat come from all over the lands to come and have darshan. Now, if I was to go to Lahore, then all of them would also come to Lahore. And it would be very difficult for you to actually cater for them. And so Sahari Mal, who was their Taya's son, that was the name of their Taya's son, they said that, okay, then can you at least send one of your sons? So Guru Ramdas Ji then continued to ask their sons. So they went to their eldest son, Baba Priti Chand. And they said to Baba Priti Chand that, will you go to the wedding of our family and see that everything goes okay, bless them with your darshan? And Baba Priti Chand, they were very clever. And they thought to themselves that if I go to Lahore, then in the time that I'm away, then Guru Ramdas Ji might give the Guruship to one of my other brothers. And also, they used to take from the Guru's house, they used to steal from the Guru's house And they thought, if I'm away, then someone might find out what I've been doing. So they said to Guru Ramdas Ji that I look after all the langar here, I do all the administration, that there's so many things I do, I can't go. So Guru Ramdas Ji went to their second son, Baba Mahadev Ji. And Baba Mahadev Ji, from a very young age, they weren't really concerned with worldly things. They would keep in meditation all the time. And they said to Baba Mahadev Ji that, will you go to the wedding of the sons of my Taya's son, so my cousin's wedding, his nephew. And Baba Mahadev Ji said, what nephews? What Taya's son? What relative? I don't even know who these people are. I'm the Atma. The Atma has no relatives. And so Guruji thought, okay, so he's declined as well. And then Guru Ramdas Ji go to Guru Arjun Dev Ji. And when they come to Guru Arjun Dev Ji first does namaskar. So they bow to their father, to their Guru. And they say, what is your hukum, father? And Guru Ramdas Ji said to Guru Arjun Dev Ji that, will you go to the wedding of our relatives in Lahore? And what I want you to do is, after the wedding's done, I want you to go to that place where I was born, that house where I was born, and then create a dharamsala, a place where people sing the praises of WhyGuru. And then I want you to do Gurmat Parchar there. So I want you to spread the word of the Guru. But do not come back until I send for you, until I say you can come back. So Guru Arjun Dev Ji say to their father, they say that, thank you so much for sending me to such a joyous occasion. And Guru Arjun Dev Ji go to Lahore. And they see that all the wedding takes place. After about a month, they then set up the dharamsala in that house where Guru Ramdas Ji was born. And they would start doing Parchar of Sikhi. And after some time, Guru Arjun Dev Ji, they started to be in pain. They couldn't bear being away from their Guru, away from their father for so long. And what they would do is they would go to the rooftop of the dharamsala and they would look out to that path that came from Amritsar to see, is there anybody who's coming to take me back to my father? And when they saw that nobody was coming, then their eyes would fill with tears from that pain. And when they climbed onto that rooftop, Guru Arjun Dev Ji actually recited a beautiful Bani. This Bani that's in the rag of Sorat. So Guruji says, they say, Deh disa chatra meg kata kata damana chamak darayo. They say that I'm looking out into all 10 directions and I can see that the clouds are covering all the lands. And they say that meg kata kata, that throughout all the clouds, I can see that there are flashes of lightning and that is scaring me. And they say, Sej akeli need no nain hai per pardes sidayo. They say that my bed is empty. There's just me in my bed. That my eyes aren't getting any sleep. And they say that my husband, Lord, my Guru Ramdas Ji, they've gone to another place so far away. They say that now I'm getting no message from my father. I'm not hearing if they're okay or when they want me to come back. And Guruji says, they say, Ek kosaro siddh karat lal tab chaturat patro ayo rahao. So they say that when my father, Guru Ramdas Ji, would go even a koha away, which is 2.4 kilometers, they say that they would write to their lal. So this is a way that people used to refer to their children, their lal, their beloved. They say that they would write to their lal 4 letters, even when they were just 2.4 kilometers away. But they say, Kyo bisara eho lal pyaro sarab guna sukhdayo. They say that now, how can they forget their lal, their beloved son? O giver of all the virtues and all of peace. And they finish by saying, Mandar charke panth niharo nain neer par ayo. They say that I'm climbing on top of this mansion and I'm looking at that path that goes towards Amritsar and my eyes are filling with tears. So we can see the pain that Guru Arjun Dev Ji was going through. So much pain. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji tells us what happens when we try to explain the state of those like Guru Arjun Dev Ji, who had accepted what they listened to, because they knew they couldn't go back unless their father called for them. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, they say, Je ko kahe, pichhe puchtaye. So they say that if, ko means anyone, kahe speaks. So if anybody speaks about the state of those who accepted, tries to describe, try to explain their state, then pichhe pachutaye. Then afterwards, they're in so much regret. That how could I try to explain the state of those like Guru Arjun Dev Ji, who were in that much pain, but they still lived in that acceptance of what their father told them, what they listened to. And so some time had passed, and the pain just became so much that they couldn't endure it. That when Guru Arjun Dev Ji would speak to the Sangat about Guru Ramdas Ji, about their qualities, about how amazing they were, that love inside for their father, for their Guru, increased even more. And when Guru Arjun Dev Ji would sing Kirtan at the Dharamsala, that they would start crying. Tears would flow from their eyes. In that love, in that pain. And sometimes their voice would break because they were in that pain. And even when they weren't singing Kirtan, Guru Arjun Dev Ji, they would just burst out into tears. And so Guru Arjun Dev Ji thought that why don't I write a letter to my father? Why don't I write a letter to Guru Ramdas Ji? And this letter starts, Mera man loche Guru darshan tai. They say, Mera man, my mind, loche, is yearning for the darshan of my Guru. And they say, Bil pakare jatrik ki nyai. They say, Bil pakare, that I'm crying out, jatrik ki nyai, like the jatrik, which is a rainbird. So this rainbird, it would fly on top of the trees, sit on the branch, it would look up into the skies, and it would chirp and cry, just for that one drop of rain from the clouds. This is what Guru Arjun Dev Ji is saying it's like for them. He's crying out like that rainbird. They say, Trikana utara, santana ave, bin darsana sant pyare jiyo. They say that my thirst, my trikha, na utara, is not going away. Santana ave, that shanti is not coming. I'm not finding that peace. Bin darsana sant pyare jiyo, without the darshan of my beloved saint, my beloved Guru Ramdas Ji. They say, Ho koli jiyo kol kumai, Guru darsana sant pyare jiyo, rahao. So they're saying that my body is a sacrifice to my Guru. My mind is a sacrifice to my Guru. And I'm sacrificed to the darshan of my beloved Guru. And for most of us, we probably haven't experienced the separation like people used to in those days, and especially for Guru Arjun Dev Ji. That when our family or our friends, they go on holiday, we've got WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, that we just tell them, when you get there, give me a call, message me when you get there. In the airport, they're still calling us. But imagine having none of that. That if we just think in our minds, if we imagine somebody that we love so much, could be our parents, our spouses, our children. Imagine our children having to go away for 2 months and we wouldn't be able to speak to them, see them, hear from them, know that they're okay, know that they even got there okay. Imagine the pain that it would be for us. And now imagine that, not 2 months, 2 years, which is, according to some sources, how long Guru Arjun Dev Ji had to be away from Guru Ramdas Ji. And so the Siddhs say that, okay, we can't explain with our words, we can't speak of the state of those that have accepted, like Guru Arjun Dev Ji. But what about if we could write the state? And Guru Nanak Dev Ji, in this Bauri, they continue by saying, Kagad kalam na likhna har. So they're saying that there is no paper, that there's no pen, and there's no writer that can write the state of those people. That this paper, the writer, they wouldn't even be able to, or even worthy of writing it. And so continue with the Saki. So Guru Arjun Dev Ji, they wrote that letter, the one we just went through. And they got a messenger, and they said to the messenger that I want you to go now back to Amritsar and give that letter to Guru Ramdas Ji. And I want you to tell me what Guru Ramdas Ji says. What's their hukam? And so the messenger goes, they get there, and they see Guru Ramdas Ji in the distance. But before they get there, Baba Priti Chand, he sees the messenger. And he thinks, he's not dressed like he's from around here. He looks like he's dressed from Lahore. So he approaches the messenger and says, what are you doing here? And the messenger says that I've come from Lahore with a message, with a letter from your brother, from Guru Arjun Dev Ji. And Baba Prithi Chand says, don't worry, I'll give it to father. He says, you shower up, you rest, have some langar, and go back to Lahore. So Baba Prithi Chand, they open the letter and they read what Guru Arjun Dev Ji had written. And when they were reading it, they thought, this is like the Bani of my father, of my grandfather. So much love. And he thought, if my father sees this, then he's going to give the Guruship to Guru Arjun Dev Ji, to my brother. And so he kept the letter. And he went back to that messenger and he said that Guru Ramdas Ji said that he's very happy with Guru Arjun Dev Ji. Tell him to continue to do Gurmat Parchar. So he lied. And the messenger goes back and tells Guru Arjun Dev Ji, this is what your father said. And Guru Arjun Dev Ji thought, for some reason, my father doesn't love me as much anymore. And after some days, he thought, surely if Guru Ramdas Ji had read that letter, that he would have called for me. He would have said, bring Guru Arjun Dev Ji back. And so what happened then was that Guru Arjun Dev Ji, they wrote another letter. And they gave it again to the messenger. And the messenger went back to Lahore. And just before again they could give it to Guru Ramdas Ji, guess who popped up? Baba Prithi Chand. And he said to the messenger, I thought you'd gone back to Lahore. And he said, yeah, I did. But Guru Arjun Dev Ji, they wrote another letter that they can't bear to be away from their father. They're in so much pain. And Baba Prithi Chand, they open the letter and they get even more worried about how beautiful the words were of Guru Arjun Dev Ji. And they were especially worried because their grandfather, so Guru Amar Das Ji, had did a bachan that the time that Guru Ramdas Ji was going to leave their physical body was actually approaching. It was around about that time. And he thought, if my father sees this, then he's definitely going to get the Guruship. So it's good that I intercepted this letter. And even though the messenger wanted to have darshan of Guru Ramdas Ji, Baba Prithi Chand lied and he said that now's not the time for darshan. Guruji is not seeing anyone at the moment. And he said to the messenger, he said, Guru Ramdas Ji said that continue doing Gurmat Parchar, that if he wants my darshan, do the darshan of the Sadh Sangat over there. And he says, you don't need to bother with all of these letters. And he said that when I need you to come back, then I'll call you back. So they lied and said this to the messenger. And the messenger went back to Guru Arjun Dev Ji and they told him this. And Guru Arjun Dev Ji was thinking, what kind of test is this from my father? That he's never spoken such harsh words before to me. And after a month, Guru Arjun Dev Ji thought, maybe those letters didn't even reach my father. So he asked the messenger, he said, did you give those letters by hand to my father? Right to Guru Ramdas Ji's hands. And the messenger explained the whole situation. They said, no, they said both times Baba Prithi Chand came up. And they said that they would give it to your father. And Baba Prithi Chand told us these messages. And even though I wanted to get darshan, he said it wasn't time to get darshan. And Guru Arjun Dev Ji realized that Baba Prithi Chand had been hiding the letters. So Guru Arjun Dev Ji wrote another letter. And they said to the messenger that I'm going to give you some instructions now, but don't worry, go to Lahore, go to Amritsar again, keep your head down, don't get eye contact with Baba Prithi Chand, and give the letter only to the hands of my father. And so the messenger, they set off for Amritsar. The whole way there, they're doing Naam WhyGuru Simran. And they're doing Beintiya, they're praying that please don't let any obstacle come in my way to give this letter to my Guru. And their prayers were answered because when they got there, Baba Prithi Chand, they were consumed by some other activities. And they gave this letter to Guru Ramdas Ji. And Guru Ramdas Ji, they started reading this letter, the third letter. He said, Eka kadi na milte, ta kal jug hota. They say that if I don't see you for just one kadi, that time that it takes to blink an eye, then it's kal jug for me. That's the state. If I don't see you, that's what it's like for me. They say, Hun kad miliye, pre tud bhagavanta. They say, now when will I meet you, my beloved Lord, my Guru Ramdas Ji, my father? When am I going to see you again? Mohe rain na vihave, need na ave, Bina dekhe gur darbare jiyo. They say that I can't even enjoy the night anymore. That I can't sleep anymore without seeing the core of my Guru. And they finish with saying, Ho koli jiyo kol kumai, tisa sache gur darbare jiyo. So they're saying again, my mind is a sacrifice, my body is a sacrifice to the true core of my Guru. And when Guru Ramdas Ji read these words, tears started to fill in their eyes. They thought that Guru Arjun Dev Ji, my son, they kept the honor of my family. That they didn't go against my bhajan, that they didn't come back because I told them that they couldn't come back without instruction. And when Guru Ramdas Ji was reading this, they were in so much pain that they could see that love from Guru Arjun Dev Ji that they actually stopped speaking for a while. That quite a lot of time passed and they were just silent. And they said to Baba Buddha Ji, Bhai Guru Das Ji, and 3 other Guru Sikhs, they said, go and get Guru Arjun Dev Ji, bring him back to Amritsar. And when those Guru Sikhs went to Lahore, and Guru Arjun Dev Ji saw Baba Buddha Ji approaching, they burst into tears. They started crying because they knew what it meant. That now it's time for me to see my father again, my Guru. And when they reached Amritsar, when Guru Arjun Dev Ji saw Guru Ramdas Ji, they ran towards them and they fell at their feet. And they couldn't stop crying. And it's written that they cried so much that Guru Ramdas Ji's feet were just drenched in water, completely wet with their tears. And as we carry on this body, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, they say, Manne ka behakaran vichar. They say that even if we just sit and do contemplation of those that have accepted, like Guru Arjun Dev Ji, you still wouldn't be able to understand their state. That we could sit here for hours and hours trying to understand how Guru Arjun Dev Ji must have been feeling. Their state where they accepted what their father said, to not come back until I tell you to come back. And we still wouldn't be able to understand their state. And to finish off this Saki, just for time, we can't go through the full details, but when Guru Ramdas Ji saw Guru Arjun Dev Ji, they said to their son that on this letter that you wrote, there was a number 3 at the end. Why have you written a number 3? Guru Ramdas Ji was Antarjami, they knew everything anyway. And Guru Arjun Dev Ji said that I'd written 2 letters before this one. And Guru Ramdas Ji asked the messenger, they said, where are these other 2 letters? And the messenger said that I gave them to Baba Prithi Chand. That he said he would give them to you, and he told me what you said. And when Baba Prithi Chand was questioned, they lied. They denied all of it. And Guru Ramdas Ji, they told one of the Sevadars, go to Baba Prithi Chand's house, and in their room, they've got a jola there. Bring that jola to me. And in front of everybody, they took out those 2 letters from the jola of Baba Prithi Chand. And Guru Ramdas Ji said to Baba Buddha Ji at that time, they said, now who are we going to give the Guruship to? And Baba Buddha Ji said, Guru Arjun Dev Ji has shown us all the qualities. And they were then actually given the Guruship. They became the Guru. And it was there that Guru Arjun Dev Ji recited the 4th letter that started with Bhag Hoa Guru Sant Milaya. They're saying that I'm in such great fortune that I've now met my Guru, my Sant. And later on, many years later, Guru Arjun Dev Ji went back to Lahore. They went back to sacrifice themselves. And they sacrificed themselves by sitting on a tatti tavi, a hot plate. Now, who's been to the Langar kitchen in the back where they're making prashad? Show of hands. When we stand like even just 2 meters away from the tawa, we can feel the heat, right? It's really hot. And imagine sitting on there for hours and hours and having hot sand poured over the top of you. And Guru Arjun Dev Ji showed us again the amazing level of acceptance that they had, because they recited a Barni about when they were on the Tatti Tavi. They say, Tera kiya meetha lage. That Tera kiya, your doings, your actions, WhyGuru, are so sweet to me. Again, showing us the level of their acceptance. And this applies to what we've been hearing about in this body. Manne ki gat kahi na jaye, je ko kahe, piche pachutaye. Kagad kalam na likhna har, manne ka beh karan vichar. All of these things apply to this state that Guru Arjun Dev Ji was in, of acceptance. And to finish on this body, Aisa naam niranjan hoye, je ko man jane, man koe. And the way we're going to translate this is a bit of a funky one, because in order to translate in English, we have to do it in different orders. So bear with me, I'm going to go through it twice. So first we have Aisa naam. So such is this naam, so great is this naam, that je ko, that if anyone, man, in their mind, man jane, know to accept. So they understand that they have to accept. Walk this path of acceptance. Then, koe, that person, niranjan hoye, become pure. So anjan means blemish, mark. Niranjan means without that, so pure. So they become that pure form of WhyGuru. So just again, Aisa naam, that so great is this naam, that if anybody in their mind knows that they have to accept, walk this path of acceptance, then that person becomes pure, becomes the pure form of WhyGuru. And just a Saki to illustrate one of the many Sakya of the power that Naam can have. And this is of the Saki from Sekanahiya, which is such an amazing book about the life of Sant Baba Naam Singh Ji. For me, it's probably the most inspirational book that I've read on Sikhi. And we'll share it in the group afterwards. And it's in English as well. What happened was, there was a Bibi who came to see Sant Baba Naam Singh Ji. And she had her brother with her. So the brother was 40 years old. And the brother couldn't speak properly. They couldn't hear properly. They couldn't walk by themselves. And they had mental issues. And the Bibi said to Sant Baba Naam Singh Ji that I wanted to bring my brother here to the Guru's house for shelter. I want him to stay here. And Sant Ji said, if you can't come to the Guru's house for shelter, where else can you go? And he said, that's fine, he can stay here. And so what he would do is Sant Ji would get one of the Sevadars to bring Sadhu Singh, so that was his name, Sadhu, her brother, to bring Sadhu Singh to sit with him when he would do his Nitnem in the morning. So when Sant Ji would read the Nitnem, which included Sukhmani Sahib and many other Baniya, whether Sadhu Singh could hear or not, it didn't matter. Sant Ji made sure that he would sit with him when he would do his morning Nitnem. And he would show him a rosary bead, so we've seen like a mala, and he would show Sadhu Singh how to go from one to the next, so they could recite something. And he said to them in their ear, he said, what I want you to do is to recite WhyGuru all the time. And they said to Sadhu Singh, show me, what are you going to do? And Sadhu Singh repeated back, they went, Wardu, because they couldn't speak properly, right? But Sant Ji was happy with the effort. And Sant Ji stood back and he said, all the matters are resolved now. Everything is good. And so after just a few months, Sadhu Singh could now speak more clearly, so it sounded more like WhyGuru now. They could hear better, they could walk by themselves, and they started doing seva in the Gurukar. And after 6 months, they were just as strong as anybody else in the Gurukar. And they would do seva like digging and repairing the cots in the Gurukar as well. And what happened then is shortly afterwards, they would start to recite WhyGuru in their sleep, because that's what they were doing all day. They listened to what Sant Baba Naam Singh Ji said, and they would recite WhyGuru in their sleep. And all the sevadars, they would gather around their bed at night and listen to them saying WhyGuru, 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 while they were sleeping. And the sevadars, including the sevadar who wrote the biography, they asked Sant Baba Naam Singh Ji, they said, what's going on? How is he doing this? And Sant Ji said, this is the benefit of reciting WhyGuru without any doubt. That when I told Sadhu Singh to recite WhyGuru all day, he didn't think, should I do it? Should I not? Is it going to work? What's going to happen? He just accepted it, right? He accepted what he'd listened to, like the theme of this body. And then shortly afterwards, they would start to hear Anhad Shabad. So they would hear the divine music of the universe. And it's Anhad meaning unstruck. So there was nobody playing the instrument. It was just the sounds of the universe, of creation. And he would climb on the rooftops and look to see, where's this music coming from? But it was just his spiritual state. And then he reached a stage that whatever he would say would become true. When people would come to him, giving him food, giving him clothes, then whatever he would say to them would become true. So that's the spiritual state they received from listening and accepting and reciting WhyGuru. But there's a big but. So after all this time, within just a few weeks, they lost everything. Sadhu Singh, all that spiritual achievement, that level that they reached, they lost everything. And so what we're going to do now is have a quiz. And I'm going to give you some options of what he may have done. I'm going to get you to guess what you think it was that caused him to lose all of his spiritual power. So, what caused Sadhu Singh to lose his spiritual level? You can see it's a bit of a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire if anyone's seen that. So, was it A, he killed someone? B, he started slandering people, gossiping about people? Was it C, he watched TV? D, he started lying? Was it E, he got tempted by lust? Or F, that he stole from the Golok? So we're just going to have hands raised for each answer. So who thinks it was A, that he killed somebody? Surprising. B, who thinks it was B, started slandering people? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, minus 4, plus the 7. Yeah, okay. That was. C, what about watch TV? Okay, there's a few. Then what about D, started lying? Okay, there's quite a few for that. What about E, tempted by lust? Okay, just one. And then F, they stole from the Golok. They stole from the Guru's house. Ooh, I think we might have a potential winner there. I think it was slandering people, to be honest. I think slandering was the one that had the most votes. So the answer was that they watched TV. So it was TV. And so let me explain before everyone gets scared and they can't watch EastEnders anymore. So what happened is their brother had got to know that Sadhu Singh was cured. So he thought, right, let me take him back to where I live in Ludhiana just for a few days at a time. So when they brought Sadhu Singh back to their house, they would keep them occupied by just putting the TV on all day. And he would watch it all day. And every time he would go back to the Gurukar, he would tell everybody about the trolley, which is what he called a television. He used to tell people all day, oh, the TV's amazing, I was watching this, I was watching that. And every time he would go back and come back, he'd be saying the same stuff. And then what happened is his elder sister passed away, and now he started staying full time with his brother. And this was happening over a period of a few weeks. And when the Sevadars were around Ludhiana one day, they thought, okay, let's see Sadhu Singh, right? They spent some time with him, he's their mate and stuff. And so when they went inside, the family turned the TV off, which is what Sadhu Singh was watching, and they gave them some refreshments. And they said to Sadhu Singh, they said, why don't we take you back to the Gurukar? Come back there. You're always welcome there. You can stay there. And Sadhu Singh said, there's no TV there. I don't want to go. And Sadhu Singh turned the TV back on. And the Sevadars asked the family, they said, is this what he always does? And he said that he watches TV up until the late night, and he only gets up once the programs finish. And they said, okay, but what about his mala? Does he still recite WhyGuru? And they said, occasionally, but he's just watching TV all the time. So this isn't saying we can't watch TV, but just look at the impact of being absorbed in Naam compared to the impact of being completely absorbed in TV. So that was just a story, just showing how amazing Naam is. And just to finish on a personal story, so last week there was the Vaisakhi at the square, where they closed off all of Trafalgar Square, and they had stalls, they had stages where people did talks. Bibri Simran Kaur did an amazing talk, Bhai Manpreet Singh did an amazing talk, and it was a really nice energy. Everyone was talking about Vaisakhi. And for me, the most moving, the most powerful, the most memorable part of that whole day was when a mother and her 2 children came up to us. And she said that, do you guys do talks at schools? And we said, Hanji, yeah, we do talks. What is it that you would like us to do? And she said that my son, ever since he started wearing a dastard, he's been getting bullied at school. Like really bullied. And I looked at her son, and he was no older than 10 years old. And he was wearing a dastard. He's wearing a bana, he's wearing a kirpan, he looked amazing, but he was just so serious. And she said that he hasn't got a father figure in his life, and the school aren't really taking any steps to stop this bullying. That even the school teachers aren't doing anything. And she said, because my son has started walking this path of the Guru and started wearing a dastard, that his little sister has also started doing the same thing. And she was only little. She must have been, 7 or 8 years old. And she was just standing there as well, so serious, with the dastard, bana, and she looked so cute. And what she had on her was a badge. And the mother said that she would never take this badge off. She would always wear this badge all the time. And this badge was of Bibi Satanam Kaur Ji and Bibi WhyGuru Kaur Ji. And these two young Gaurs sacrificed themselves in 1984 to protect our Guru, to protect the Sikhs of the Guru. When the tanks came in to the Parkarma of Sri Harmandir Sahib, and they sacrificed themselves. And what was interesting was that she actually looked like Bibi Satanam Kaur Ji and Bibi WhyGuru Kaur Ji. And when I was reflecting on this body, I thought, how can I explain the state of those children? That even though they were getting bullied at less than 10 years old, they're getting bullied, and they could have easily thought, you know what, I'm not going to wear the star anymore. But they were still getting bullied, and they never turned their back on their Guru. And this is what I thought of when I thought, how can I relate this personally? That I know that no matter how much I tried, I could never explain their state. How strong they were, that they never turned their back on their Guru. And so just to finish, if anybody would like to share a story of meeting someone that they couldn't explain the state of those that have accepted what their Guru told them, or if there's any questions. Are you standing up Manmohan Singh for a question? Any vichar, any questions? In that case, please forgive me for all the sins I've made, for all the mistakes I've made. You are the Sad Sangat. You can forgive me. Lekh hai katahna chutiye, khin khin puranahar, baksanahar baksale, nanak par utar. WhyGuru Ji ka Khalsa, WhyGuru Ji ki Fateh.
WhyGuru, thank you, Guru Arjun Singh, for that lovely talk. Seems like nobody wants to talk today, but I think it was a very nice way to end the presentation. It's very nice, Saki. And I was blessed to meet those two kids as well, and definitely can vouch for everything that he's saying in terms of how special those two young kids were. Chalo, nobody wants to talk. We can say WhyGuru together then. ठीक है, so repeat me tabla, please. So do some Kirtan for Parchar Singh. Been very nice, and said that he would do some Kirtan when we asked him. So we do it for about 5 minutes, and then I think Guru Sahib Ji, they're doing Sukhasan downstairs. Who's Sukhasan downstairs? That's the answer I got. Alright, can you find out, please? And then we'll do Ardas, and Guru Sahib Ji's already, they've already done Sukhasan this year, so we just go down with Guru Sahib Ji. Please don't go, everyone's running out. Please stay for the Simran, it's just 5 minutes, and then let's go. So guard the door, nobody else can leave. ठीक है जी, वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह.
वाहिगुरु वाहिगुरु मोहि न बिसार हो मैं जन तेरा 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 मैं जन तेरा मैं जन तेरा मैं जन तेरा मोहि न बिसार हो मैं जन तेरा मोहि न बिसार हो ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਮੋਹਿ ਨਾ ਬਿਸਾਰ ਹੋ ਮੈਂ ਜਨ ਤੇਰਾ ਮੋਹਿ ਨਾ ਬਿਸਾਰ ਹੋ ਮੈਂ ਜਨ ਤੇਰਾ ਮੋਹਿ ਨਾ ਬਿਸਾਰ ਹੋ ਮੈਂ ਜਨ ਤੇਰਾ 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 ਮੋਹਿ ਨਾ ਬਿਸਾਰ ਹੋ ਮੈਂ ਜਨ ਤੇਰਾ ਮੋਹਿ ਨਾ ਬਿਸਾਰ ਹੋ ਮੈਂ ਜਨ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਪਾਣੀ ਪਿਤਾ ਮਾਤਾ ਤਰਤ ਮਾਰ ਦਿਵਸ ਰਾਤ ਦੁਇ ਜਾਈਤਾ ਖੇਲੇ ਸਗਲ ਜਗਤ ਚੰਗਿਆਈਆ ਬੁਰਿਆਈਆ ਵਾਚੈ ਤਰਨ ਦੂਰ ਕਰਨੀ ਆਪੋ ਆਪਨੀ ਕੇ ਕੇ ਦੂਰ ਜਿਨੀ ਨਾਮ ਧਿਆਇਆ ਕੇ ਸਕਤ ਕਾਲ ਨਾਨਕ ਤੇ ਮੁਖ ਉਜਲੇ ਕੀਤੀ ਚੁੱਟੀ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਨੇ ਨਾਮ ਧਿਆਇਆ ਕੇ ਸਕਤ ਕਾਲ ਨਾਨਕ ਤੇ ਮੁਖ ਉਜਲੇ ਕੀਤੀ ਚੁੱਟੀ ਨਾਲ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਪੈਰਦਾਸ